Throughout this video, I go over how to start your AI agency with $0 and how do you actually run it. I'm going to be giving you a full roadmap of how to do every single thing in depth and detail. So what is going to be a niche? Okay, so in a niche, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be giving someone a service, you're doing a service for someone, and that's what your niche is. So over here, I always ask this question whenever I'm coming up with a niche. Which are you doing and for whom are you doing this for? In your case, it might be a lead gen system for realtor, for med spas, or whatever. And then after that, I know what I'm doing for who. I'm going to be building an appointment settler for HVAC plumbing. Okay, so let's move on to the next bit. That is a very important bit. That is, I'm going to be doing X for Y that gets them this result. Always follow this framework whenever you're building an automation or selling a service nonetheless. This is going to help you clarify a lot of things in the long run. So it's going to go off like this. I am doing X for Y that will get them the result of Z. For me, it's going to be I'm building an appointment settler for HVAC plumbing companies that holds their leads or qualify or books them. So we have solved the first bit to our question about a niche. Okay, so now what automation are you going to be selling it? So for this, I have a very simple thing. That is, don't overthink it. Instead of rebuilding or fixing it, building it, just steal it from someone. Easy as that. Not literally steal it from someone, but a lot of people throughout the internet, they just give out their templates and you can just copy paste it and most of your work is done. Instead of debugging, fixing this and that, these automations, copy their templates, put it and rebuild and then set them up. They'll work with this. 80% of their automation is done. All you need to do is 20% of the automation and you're all done. That is it. That's all you gotta do. The 20-minute includes setting up the API using, simple tasks like that. So for that bit, I'm going to be stealing someone else's automation. Check out YouTube channels like Thrive. So the video I'm going to be following is from, yes, it's by Quincy McCann, but I am going to be adding a bit of my own aspects to this, like changing it up a bit, adding my own pizzazz to it just to make it better. It is this how to build an appointment settler and reschedule with cancel functionality. Right now, it is not your job to build an automation at all. No, don't even try to work this, upgrade, edit at all. Your entire job right now is to get leads, fix your ICP, and sell. When you do get a client, then you're going to be building. So nothing right now that is important. You have everything ready, right? We're trying to do this as fast as possible and we're trying to make it as simple as that. We do have a niche and we do have this. Now we need to find out our ICP, ideal customer profile. Okay, so this is the entire thing we'll be using to find my ICP app, my ideal customer profile app. Guys, keep in mind, I'm going to be summarizing most of this in this entire process. So take your time with this, find each thing with time, and also make sure you understand what you're learning, because there is no point if you don't understand this right now. If this concept develops even more, you're going to forget about it. So just understand this, take your time with this. I'm going to go over this pretty fast, but make sure you go through everything in detail and depth. Take your time with every step, including your ICP, which is one of the most important things in this entire process. So what you're going to be going through over this is the employee, that may be 100 to 150, 1 million, whatever. Revenue range. Before we move on to the revenue range, one thing you need to keep in mind about employee. Do research on who your ideal profile is. Like for me, is HVAC companies, plumbing, and that. So for me, I'm gonna go over what it is, but for you to understand what revenue that company should be in, like having whatever revenue, what their goal is, and what pain points are. Make sure you go through these in depth when you're doing your research to find out your ICP. Make sure to take a lot of time trying to find out your ICP, because I am gonna go over this pretty fast. So take your time finding your ICP. Well, then let's move on to revenue. Or they should have a couple of, like $1 million to $5 million. Just keep it simple. Revenue range. For you, since I'm selling this type of automation, the revenue I'm looking for to make sense when I'm selling this to them, it should be about $1 million to $5 million. Keep that in mind. For you, it might be different, 10 million, 20 million, but an ideal range is 1 to 5 million. For employee range, the ideal employee range is around 10 to 25, because you don't want to have too many, it's going to be too much. So what who are you looking for? Who is your ideal customer? Are they a low-level gatekeeper receptionist? No, normally for you, it's an owner, co-founder, founder, that matters. And pain, this is very important. This is one of the most important parts of this step, trying to find out your ICP. What pain are you solving? For lead gen, it might be finding leads. For a qualified lead system, it might be finding qualified leads or qualified funnel. So you need to find out your pain points. For me, my employee range is 5 to 25 million. My revenue is $500,000 to $3 million. I do need to change this from $500K to $1 million, because I'm going to be charging $4,000, $5,000 for my automation and a monthly retainer. So what do you think? Does it make sense for them? If they make like $20,000, a $5,000 AI agent, does not make sense, because it's not enough margins for them to be putting it out on this whenever you're trying to find out preference. So now we're going to be moving on to the roles. The roles I'm looking for is owner, office manager, practicing manager. These are the people I'm directly going to sell to. I'm going to cold call, cold email. Then I'm moving on to this. Pain. What pain am I solving? What problem am I solving? It is missed calls, receptionist costs, after hour losses. Let me show this to you. Okay, fine. This is going to be a pipeline I'm drawing. So here's where leads come in. If the person pick up, then they go through this. for an appointment. Otherwise, if the receptionist is busy or is on a lunch break or whatever, most of these leads are gone. You've lost it. 50% of your leads are gone because the receptionist is either on a call or is doing something other than this. So you need to keep in mind, once they leave the starting of your pipeline, they're calling someone else. If I call into a med spa and say, I want a spa day, or I'm doing a reservation, and they don't pick up, I'm moving on to another med spa. So I'm gone. I'm not converting. It's going to have very low converting rates if they're not available all the time. So other than that, you get these leads and go through this. The appointment set is going to be solving this and availability check and whatever. Done. Simple basic thing. With a receptionist, what the problem is, it's going to take time checking, booking, and everything. So she might even make a mistake when the AI does not make a mistake because it has specific guidelines to follow. It's going to do this as fast as possible, book, sell, and everything. And then here you have client. You have a happy client and you got money in your pocket. Easy. One thing keep in mind when finding your ICP, make sure how much your one client is valuable to the whoever you're selling to, because for dental care or an HVAC it might be $1,000, $2,000, or $20,000. For a dentist it might be $3,000 to $5,000. So keep that in mind. So that one lead you're saving makes them that much money. That's how you price your AI agent. We have gotten this after our losses and everything. The agent's gonna cut down on these problems. Done. We also have a ICP. Now we're gonna move on to a lead gen system. Look, let me guide you guys through what these are. Cold calling is when you call up the person, you offer them value, and then you sell them your service. This normally goes in a process where you find the leads and then you start calling them. And then there's PPC, that is pay per click ads, where you're paying for every single. And then cold email, when you're emailing someone, giving them value, and then telling them, yeah, this and that, I want you to be my customer. Other than that, the regular ads, that is if the person is interested themselves and they know of the problem, then they're doing this, which is 50% because most of the people are too arrogant to find out what they're wrong in or what problems they have. So we do have a lead gen system. Let me guide you guys through even how to build a lead gen system. Okay, a lead gen system is going to go through like this. You get Apollo. My god, give me a second. Okay, so this is a very lead gen system that I just showed you. In theory, it goes like this. So what you do is you make an Apollo account and then you scrape leads from Apollo using a tool called Appify. There's an entire process of this. I'm going to be making a video on how do you scrape leads on Apollo via app. Do not pay for Apollo. Too expensive, doesn't make sense. Use Appify, you can scrape Apollo leads for much cheaper. So what it does is Apollo is a lead database. It has everyone. Probably even has your on like her number, her email, her address, or whatever. So that's what Apollo does. Apollo is a platform with it's a database of a lot of leads. What Appify is going to do is scrape those leads for you instead of paying for Apollo's huge upcharge for all of it. Appify is going to be like shady. You know when you go to the movies and there's a guy outside, you can't get the tickets and he's like, I'll get you the tickets for like $20 instead of the original $30. So where Appify is doing that basically, but there's no shady way. If you want to pay more money, sure, go ahead. I ain't stopping you. But as an agency owner, it does not make sense. So we're going to be doing this. It's very beneficial. You know what? Screw it. Let me show you how it works. Let's go to Apollo. This is how Apollo loads up after signing up and everything. This is how it is. You could list people or categorize or filter people. Yeah, we live in a day and age where you can literally filter people. Wait, what? Bill Gates? Oh my god. BlackRock CEO. Yo, do you guys know what BlackRock is? Yeah, let me get his email. Yo, I'm begging for money. I'm Bill Gates founder. Wait, she's like, yo, let me get Bill Gates' email. It's kind of off topic, but see, it's funny, bro. It's pretty cool. See, Apollo has everyone, literally everyone. Bill Gates, Larry Finn. You probably don't know him, but he manages a $1 trillion company, BlackRock. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be filtering people based on employee range, industry, and keywords. So your job is a hell of a lot easier because of Apollo. So you add a location for me, it's the United States, industry, if you're doing whatever. Okay, let's just do health. Okay, health, wellness, and fitness. This is where med spas, dental clinics come in. Let's also add healthcare for the fun of it. And then you can select your employee ranges of the people. And you do this entire process. When you're done with it, you filter them out. What you do is you grab your Apollo link. When you grab them, you go to the Appify scraper with 50,000 leads. I have already done this process and I have about 1,300 qualified leads. So my life is a hell of a lot easier. For you, it's not, my friend. You have chosen the path that has the easy way out. So you shall complete it because you're halfway there. Okay, fine. Let me just show you the process and how it works. I will also be making a video on how you scrape leads. If you follow me on Instagram, you're going to be seeing a video how to do this for completely free and pretty fast. But you'll have to enrich those clients, leads, prospects. Let's go to this. Let me show you how this works. Okay, you're gonna go one by Code Pioneer. You're gonna add in your Apollo link. You give an entire number. You go into the run options. You say no timeout, whatever it does. You have given it the search link. Click save and task. Save and start. Close this one. Abort. Yeah, because it costs money. Yeah, you're gonna get a free plan with what is it called? $5. So use it up. Get leads. You could at least get about 1,000, 2,000 leads, and then you got to qualify them, which means if they fit your ICP, and then after that you're going to be doing it. Let's move on to the process. Okay, fine. Now we have a lead gen system. We do have it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this step. No, like this is, you do this and then you get prospects. Like the cold calling, you're going to call them up with a script. You're going to be offering them a service, and then you're going to ask them. You're going to set up multiple of these for until someone finds out an increase. You would have to give them value in both cold emailing and cold calling, because nobody just calls up the phone and hey, because there's multiple other people calling them and cold emailing them. So what makes you stand out? You need to learn and how to do that. For cold emailing, I would recommend personalizing it. For cold calling, yeah, personalize it. Hey, congrats on the engagement, or have a good script. Okay, fine. So the process I'm going to be choosing is cold calling. Okay, we do have a cold outreach system. But before this, there's one thing you guys need to understand: what your script is. My cold calling script. Make sure you guys have one and you're not Emineming this shit, bro. Don't. Trust me, I have been there and I do not recommend, because hey, it's Taha with Iron Automation. I'm selling this new Vappy AI automation. This and that, it helps you do this. You sound salesy. Stop it. Just stop. Throw it out. If you're doing that and closing a client, bro, my prayers are to you. And some of them have worked, that you have closed a client somehow. And how desperate would that have client had to be, Lord knows, bro. So make sure you have a good one. Don't sound salesy. You tell me, when someone is calling you and then they sound salesy and they're like, hey, I'm doing this and that, you're gonna hang up. You're gonna stop and hang up, and you won't like it. So it's, be natural with it. So this is my script that I'm going to show you guys how I land a client with. So it's gonna start off with, hey, is John there? I'm always gonna sound confused just to show that I'm not a sales. Hey, I'm about to scam you out of $4,500. Hey, is this John or Mike? You're creating professionalism. Okay, so right after that, you're gonna, because this is a pattern interrupt. Most of the sales calls are like, hey, it's Taha, I'm selling this. Would you like to buy? You can do this and that. I'm gonna make you money. Nah. Okay, so this is, let's just go over this. I was wondering if you could help me out for a moment. I am not sure if you're the right person I should even be talking to, but I was calling to see who would normally be responsible in your company for looking at any possible gaps on how your calls are being handled, like missed calls or after hour calls. See the keyword I used here, but when you say possible gaps, you're not saying there are any gaps and there are. So what you do is you confuse the person. Wait, are there any gaps in my business? Nah, wait, what? What is this man saying? So you confuse them. That is a good way. Instead of saying you have gaps, they're like, no, I don't. That gives them reason, but this doesn't. This actually keeps them hooked. So it's pretty good. Like missed calls and after hours that loses you guys jobs. You're also gonna add natural language and value into it. So okay, so let's move on from that. The reason I asked is we've been working with some other plumbing and black shops and set up something that might help. So basically, it's a voice assistant that answers calls 24/7, checks your team's availabilities, books, reschedules, cancels on request, gives info, and yeah, does it. Not saying that you guys have the problem, but I believe it would be worth a quick chat on. And then if it's a gatekeeper, like a receptionist, is not the owner. That's why guys always enrich your leads. That means getting a number that actually leads to them instead of a receptionist, assistant, or blah blah blah. So make your life easier. Don't make it harder. Okay, so now we're gonna move on. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing in gatekeeper options. Oh, got it. I should just have you transfer me over to the owner, officer, manager, whoever. So you're saying, oh, got it. Should I have you transfer me over to the owner or someone, or maybe someone who is in part of the role, or maybe just leave a voicemail to you so you could just send it to them and make them call back me if it's something they might need. And then at the end you say, would it make sense to set up a call sometime where I show you how shops are using this, missing this, just doing this in jobs, and even if it doesn't fit, at least we know that something's up there. Just simple as that. Let's do to keep in mind. For me, I have this thing that shows what I am selling. So there's an emergency such job routing, job booking, rescheduling, code info capture, whatever. So this is an important thing you should have always. So whenever they ask a specific question, you could easily get it instead of Emineming this. Do not do that. I'm begging you, please do not do that. Okay, so building and installing your agent into the business. For this, I will also be making a video on it. For all of these, I'm going to be making detailed videos on how to do every bit of all of these things. But right now, I am going to be talking about what to do, how to do, like simply. So okay, so building and installing, what you're going to do is you're going to follow this tutorial and video and you're going to build them the same automation. First of all, we're going to watch the video and build that exact automation. So after you do build it, keep one thing in mind. Always, if you don't have enough money to afford make.com right now, anything or whatever, when you follow the video, build it on their account, get their money. So using their make.com, build it, get the money, and then use it to template it and reinstall it for everyone else. However, other than that, you also need to do a lot of other things, such as set it up in their environment. That means you're going to be in the kickoff call, make sure you always have one. You're going to be grabbing their accounts and building them, making them a make.com account, an account ever. So it helps you out when you're building. Other than that, you do that, make sure if you have access to make.com right now, get affiliate links to everything and put it into them. That means you get free money when they're